Okay, I'm here to talk to you guys about why police officers need to all have body cameras. From the benefits to the public to the benefits for the police officers. Have you ever heard of the saying, there's two sides to every story? Well, have you ever been in a situation when you remember a conversation that you had and then someone else remembers it differently? I'm sure if it happens to all of us, it happens to the police officers as well, and the public. So when they get together, they have some type of conversation, especially in the heat of the moment. They think, something happened, or they think of the story one way, and the police officer has a different story. When me and my husband were younger, we were walking late kind of at night. It was around 11 o'clock. And a police officer had stopped us. He proceeded to talk to my husband because he fit the profile for someone who the profile for somebody who had robbed a convenience store like 5 minutes away from where we were. He had gotten from the dispatcher that my husband didn't fit the description, and he still took my husband in handcuffs to the police station, which was 6 miles away from where he lived, so he had to walk home after that. So that's just one of the scenarios that happens when police officers don't have a body cam, and they are not accountable for what happens to them because nobody has that proof. In 2010, there were 173 excessive force complaints against officers in Texas alone. Imagine the media that covers these cases nowadays. Imagine the difference between 2010 and now. There's a lot of difference. Wouldn't you feel better if you knew that a police officer would be accountable for the actions that they did if they did use excessive force? So, how do you guys feel? Do you feel like if a police officer had came to you and used excessive force, wouldn't you be happier if they had some type of camera on them where they can be accountable for their actions and you can use that evidence to your benefit?
Definitely.
People should know their rights as well. If an officer asks you questions, the main things you need to reply is your name and address. If they ask you any questions, you really don't have to give them any information, because technically it can be incriminating yourself. But you do have to tell them your name or your address. And a lot of times when people, it's the law. And I know a lot of people, when an officer comes up to them, they have already an attitude about it, so that also escalates the situation. So people are a lot calmer as well when they're speaking to police officers. Sometimes these incidents wouldn't happen, but then there is the other side as well. With that being said, you also shouldn't be rude for no reason. Some of the public benefits are in the study conducted by the University of Cambridge Institute of Criminology. They found that body-worn cameras reduce the use of force by 50%. So they went to 2 different places. It was in Mesa and Rialto in California, and they documented that substantial drops in citizen complaints following deployment of the technology also worked. So it's on both sides. The police officers don't get as many people filing complaints on them because sometimes they're not real complaints, and also the public has that right that, okay, so they know that they have a body camera on them, so they're not going to act that way that they shouldn't, 50% of the time. So it's pretty good. From the same previous study, complaints against police also fell to 90%. So during the study period compared to the previous year. So they did 2 studies, one from regular without the body cameras, and then the next year they did it with the body cameras. Cameras also can assist with forgotten details of arrests and paperwork at the end of the officer's shift, because a lot of times they don't remember all the stuff that they did throughout the day, and they can help them later on as well. As you can see, police excessive force will drop if every officer wore a body camera. How would you feel if one of your family members was obtained or attained by a police officer and had excessive force used against them. I'm pretty sure everybody here would believe that if they did it, if they had the body camera, they would feel a lot more safer.